All right, all right. We are live, everybody. Welcome to the show. Apologies for the delay. We're having some technical issues with OBS as usual. Looks like every time there's an update, they break something. So we're doing this directly from Zoom. So here we go. So apologies for the delay. This is going out to YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, Crypto Family. Hope you're all having a great Sunday. How are you, Bill?
Ian, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right. That's great. So if anybody is having any issues with the stream, please do tell us in the comments below. I'll keep an eye on just to make sure everything is going all right. Let me know how the sound is. Everything should be good now. For some reason, Zoom is always fine, but OBS always gives us issues. I'm gonna have to upgrade to something else. I mean, yeah, because it looks like the downside of having open source stuff is sometimes it breaks a lot. All right. Well, Bill, I mean, Ethereum is now past $300. I mean, what a time to be alive. Is Ethereum finally waking up?
Yes. Actually, it all is. It's just doing it one stage at a time. So it's Ethereum. Big brother Bitcoin is coming along. And then it's all going to move together. But this is sort of new for the crypto community, right? This whole idea of like rotation, right? Like small stuff goes up, then the medium stuff goes up, then the big stuff goes up, right? And then we wait a little bit and then it all goes together.
All right. So if you're very excited for today's show, be sure to like, subscribe, and retweet and share this with all your crypto family friends. It's going to be a great show. We'll take questions via the AMA. We'll do technical analysis, price predictions, and answer pretty much any crypto investing or trading question you have. All right. So just go to the, sorry, just give me 1 second. Let me pull up the Mentimeter code. Okay. So go to menti.com. That's MENTI.com. And the code is 863118. That's 863118 to ask your question. We'll be taking questions via Menti. We'll also take questions as well via YouTube. So let's do a quick, let's see who was first on the show. Shout out goes to James. What's up, James? Good vibes, absolutely. Masadi, what's up? Alice, what's up? Alpha Diallo, always on, like clockwork, I like it. Kana, what's up? August, Michael, James Coleman, what's up? What's up, France? How are you? E-Dog on Twitter, how are you? Bobby, Ethereum or BTC? I'm torn. Good question. So we're here to help you answer that question, right? Because Ethereum is moving, Bitcoin has been going stagnant, and people must be wondering, where do I park my money in? So we're here to answer your question. Chris, what's up? Nico, what's up? All right. So I think without really further ado, let's just kind of maybe just hop straight into things.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So here comes, there is an abundance of charts. All right. So to answer the question, Ethereum or Bitcoin, based on this chart, I would have to say Ethereum, right? So this is like Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Okay. And then, you have to remember how much Ethereum has underperformed, right? So if Ethereum, like this looks like a huge rally right here, right? Like if I zoomed in, you'd be like, oh my God, this is huge. Well, big picture, it's not, right? So Ethereum, Ethereum could go to 1,000 based on this chart, right? Because we've had the theme on the show where, the bigger the base, the higher in the space, right? So Ethereum has been going sideways for a long time. We've also had the concept of the head and shoulders pattern, right? The 3 attempts by by bears to sort of push something down. And when the 3rd attempt doesn't work, okay, it just goes. All right. So that's Ethereum. Now I'm looking here at total market cap, excluding Bitcoin. All right. So it's not just Ethereum that I think can move. Okay. It's all these big coins underneath, right? Cardano, Stellar, we didn't give Litecoin any love last week, but that's probably included. Okay. total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin, has broken out, right? We may be in a little bit of a, we're just sort of pausing, the pause that refreshes. Okay. But the amount or the sort of upside target that the Ethereums and the Cardanos can have, I think is way beyond what people are expecting. Okay. So now let's go to small alts. I'm not going to do all the small alts at once. All right.
Oh, Bill?
Yes.
I think we lost you. The sound?
Can you hear me now?
I actually here just. Okay. Maybe it was me.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
So for small altcoins, all right. So now we need to come up in a highly volatile market with a plan for the week on Sunday. Got to come up with a game plan. All right. This, I think, is the game plan as of now. Ethereum can continue to go up. Bitcoin can continue to go up. Okay. Our pricing models, price prediction models have 11,500. Okay. And I have similar work. So the big coins are going to go up. Now, what is that going to do to alts? Okay. Here's a guess. My guess is when Bitcoin and Ethereum continue to rally, small alts, DeFi, etc., they could get washed out, right? They could take people out. Now, if Bitcoin got to 11,000 or even, I don't know, 10,800, any flush lower in alts would be a huge buy, because I think at that point, the whole crypto market would move together. Okay. Ethereum, alts, and even Bitcoin. So in small alts, I don't think you have to be in a huge hurry to catch the falling knife. Hopefully you listened over the last 2 weeks, booked some profits, so you're not freaking out. If you are freaking out, take a deep breath. Again, you can always take profits and come back later. All right. So that's the overview. And then I can provide more detail throughout the show.
All right. Great work. Well said, Bill. Well said. Yeah. So pretty much Ethereum things look great. Bitcoin is also on the up and up, possibly. And as Bill mentioned, book profits. If you're up in some altcoins, lock in those profits, because you don't want to get caught with your pants down. All right. Tell us what you think. What do you think Ethereum is going? What do you think Bitcoin is going? Tell us down in the comments below. Okay. All right. So here, let me just share my screen, because we do have some questions for the audience. Let me pull that up here. So once again, if you have any questions you would like to submit, go to menti.com. That's MENTI.com. Use the code 863118. That's 863118 to ask your question. Okay, so let me share my screen here. All right, so our question of the day: what's your Ethereum price prediction? Where do you think Ether is going? Is Ether going to $500? Is Ether going to $100? Is Ether going to $750, to $1,000, to $1,500? Go to menti.com and tell us what you think. This is happening live. Menti.com, MENTI.com, and tell us what you think. Now, Bill, could you maybe kind of delve into this some more in terms of just kind of general outlook as we approach the second half of this year? Where do you think Ethereum could possibly go?
Okay, I think you're going to see Ethereum. I'm going to pull the chart up. I think you're going to see Ethereum near 500 by the fall. Okay, we've been using this model. I'm gonna spare you the details, but it's very old school. Okay, so this type of consolidation pattern where Ethereum forms the cone, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the trajectory that I think Ether is going to take to get to 500 by, say, October. Okay. Now, Ether could surprise us and just go there because, whatever an altcoin can do, Ethereum could turn around and do. But I do think 500 is realistic for Ether, right? And frankly, I think 500's a no-brainer. It should have been there 6 months ago, really. Now, I think for Ether to go past 500, you're going to need Bitcoin to at least cooperate. So I think Ethereum could go to 500 with Bitcoin slowly moving higher. But for Ether to go past that, you're going to need some Bitcoin cooperation. All right. Now, one of the other reasons why I think Ethereum can go up a lot, okay, like a lot, is the chart of Bitcoin dominance. Okay. Now, what you see here on the right, Bitcoin broke support, dominance broke support at 61%. And then Bitcoin had a little rally to sort of, correct the fact that Bitcoin was lagging. Okay. But what I think is going to wind up happening is that Bitcoin dominance is going to stall again. And Bitcoin dominance could fall from 61%. Okay. There's no support over here. There really isn't. Okay. So if Bitcoin dominance got rolling again to the downside, which means Ether is probably rolling to the upside, there's a huge amount of room for like other coins to do better than Bitcoin. Okay. And that's got to be Ethereum led. So if you wanted to talk about 1,000, yeah, we could talk about 1,000, right? Because Bitcoin dominance is probably going to go lower, which means Ethereum's going to rise a lot, right? Like nobody thought DeFi coins, nobody thought alts were going to go 2 and 3x, right? It'd be funny if Ether did 2 and 3x. That you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh man, yeah, right.
So that's how I would sort of frame it, right? Looking at it as where are altcoins? Where is Ether in the total crypto picture?
All right. Well said, Bill. Well said. So let's see what the audience says. So drum rolls, please. So the audience thinks Ethereum is going to $500. So $500 is first. Second place, lots of bulls in the house. People think Ethereum could possibly go to 1,500. So basically almost a 3x. Then third place, 750. Fourth place, 1,000. Last place, $100. So the overall sentiment is very, very bullish and optimistic. Oh, wow. Okay. $1,000 is now number 2. All right. So tell us what you think. Do you think the audience is wrong? Do you think the audience is right? Tell us in the comments, what do you think Ethereum is going? So post your price prediction for Ethereum. All right. Okay. So with that being said, let's move on to the next part of the show. And if you haven't yet already, be sure to go to tokenmetrics.com and join. Once again, we're in the process of wrapping up our 14-day free trial promotion. So if that's something you want to partake in, definitely do it now before the trial expires. Now, this is only for new customers, right? So going forward, that the plan has not been kind of finalized yet, but we expect to have everything finalized by early next month. But the idea is the 50% lifetime discount that's currently been a promotion, that will also be going away, most likely to just a 25% discount. So if you've been on the fence or still haven't yet joined Token Metrics, you definitely should do it now because the lifetime discount won't be around forever. And with that being said, we also have our indices, which has really been well received. Last week was our best week ever. Basically, as a platform, we had so many new people join Token Metrics to a point it's really kind of been just the influx of people has been very tough to kind of handle, right? But don't worry, if you have any issues or questions via support, just be patient. Our team is working to answer your questions. Okay, with that being said, I think it's time for us to hop into crypto therapy. So we've covered Bitcoin, we've covered Ethereum. Now it's time for us to cover alts, right? So that being said, I think let's go to actually a crypto showdown. This has been one of the most popular alts people have been talking about in the past week So the crypto showdown for this week is Ampleforth versus Bitcoin. So lots of people have been talking about Ampleforth, how this is a new cryptocurrency that could possibly challenge Bitcoin. It's meant to be a store of value that's not really tied to the price. I know last time people kind of told us not to do TA on Ampleforth. If anything, I think it's better for us to just kind of look at their market cap. Bill, are you able to pull up a coin by market cap and do TA on that? I'm not even sure if that's a possibility.
Hang on one second. Let me see if I can find it. Okay.
All right. So for those who want to chime in, so just go to menti.com, menti.com. Use the code 863118, 863118. Let us know what you think. Do you think Ampleforth is the next best thing since Bitcoin? Which cryptocurrency do you think has more upside, Ampleforth or Bitcoin? I know lots of people in my network who are holding Ampleforth, and they've been just ecstatic. They've been happy. They think this project is going to the moon and beyond. Our team is in the process of doing a code analysis on this project. So stay tuned. We do have the fundamental score up already on Token Metrics, and we expect to have the technical score, the technology grade, up probably in the next week or so. Let me see if I can just kind of.
All right. So just for sort of humor, this is what I was able to pull up for market cap for Ampleforth. Okay. I would just say quickly, don't get in the way of something that's all green like this. Okay. So, the object is in motion, so it'll stay in motion. Is it the next Bitcoin? I don't know. It's been a while since anybody said anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Don't get in the way when it's all green like that.
Okay. So just to so this is their site, ampleforth.org. So they basically call themselves an adaptive money built on sound economics. And my understanding is this is meant to be, I believe, inelastic. So they try to, it's kind of like a stable coin. That's not quite a stable coin, meaning that they can issue more tokens and remove and basically decrease the token supply as they wish to try to balance. So everything's kind of done algorithmically. So the idea is as new people enter and buy more Ample tokens, people still maintain their proportion based on how much they bought. So meaning that if you had 1% of Ampleforth, then as they keep on changing the supply, you still stay the same. And my understanding is they do what's called a rebase, where they basically look at what's happening with their market and amount of holders and all that stuff. Then they basically change all that in your wallet. Now, I've not done a deep dive into it, but it's kind of based on the interest from our audience and our community. If that's something you guys think is definitely worth doing a deep dive into, please tell us down in the comments below, and our team will go ahead and do that. Now, in terms of, can this really replace Bitcoin? I mean, that's tough to say. Now, the arguments, at least people in my network who hold that cryptocurrency say, is that Bitcoin is not really used as a medium of exchange. Bitcoin is used as a store of value. Most people who hold Bitcoin don't want to spend their Bitcoin, which is a fair assessment. So Ampleforth is trying to solve that by kind of trying to be both a medium of exchange and a store of value. And they plan on doing that in the sense that right now there's lots of volatility, but the idea is down the road, as a project gets more adoption, the volatility will decrease and it will basically kind of become more like a stable coin. So right now people are basically making money early by being able to speculate on it. And in a way, it's kind of a hedge, right? So in terms of what would people use this project for, people would use this as a hedge versus Bitcoin. So if somebody wants to hold a store of value that has no correlation with Bitcoin, this is a possible cryptocurrency for that, right? So fundamental wise, fundamental grade is pretty decent. Just go to tokenmetrics.com to check out the full fundamental grade. And then depending on how the technology grade comes, we'll basically have a better idea whether this is a good project down the road. But I mean, so far so good. But I'll say just stay tuned. So let me check in here with the audience and see what they say. Yeah, so Timothy says rebase every 24 hours. My friend makes 30% every day trading it. Well, I mean, all I can say is that it's definitely enjoy that while it lasts. I mean, I don't think those returns will be available long term because it doesn't really matter how good of a project it is, right? The idea is volatility, as there's more adoption, will decrease. Yeah, so people are saying there's lots of speculation early on. So tell us what you think. Do you think Ampleforth can replace Bitcoin? Okay, so let's go to the showdown and see what people say. Oh, wow. I mean, I'm quite surprised. So people are saying Ampleforth has more upside than Bitcoin. So wow. So number one, first is Ampleforth. Now, maybe that's because we have too many altcoiners on our show. But I mean, that is pretty surprising though. So I think now we have to really do more research into this project. Anything to add to that, Bill?
Well, there's going to be a cryptocurrency out there that people use to buy things, right? And this idea that Ampleforth has, it's actually pretty old school, right? Central banks, before they became printing presses, used to have the legitimate job of, putting money into the system when it needed it and draining it when it needed it, right? So regulating the supply of money, right? So that's a job done by central banks. And to the extent that these guys are looking to sort of replicate that, the good functions of central banks, make it more interesting than other coins, right? So if you had something that became a stable coin that had like money supply management, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, and Ampleforth is now in the top 30 market cap. So it's definitely a coin to watch. I mean, it's definitely been on the up and up. So tell us what you think. Do you think Ampleforth has more upside than Bitcoin? Or do you think it's just all hype? So tell us down in the comments below. Okay, all right. So now let's go to let's go to the forum and just see if there are any questions we can take from our audience. Okay, just give me a second as I pull this up here. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask us offline, just go to our forum. That's forum.tokenmetrics.com. We typically do try to go there and pick questions there. So some of the questions people have been asking. So people are talking about herein.finance, Wi-Fi. So that has been a pretty popular project recently, especially for people out there who are doing yield farming. So let's take the question here. This is my first time actually seeing this question. Okay, so herein.finance, YFI, did 1,000x in 8 days, from $3 to $3,000 with a current circulating supply of $91 million. What's especially absurd about the rally in this Ethereum-based token is that in the launch learns, let me just try to skip some of this here. Okay, so basically he talks about that project and he goes on to say, could helium do 100x? Okay, so he's tying two coins into this. And what or where could be the next 1,000x coin? Okay, so lots of questions there. So basically, first question is herein.finance. So Bill, could you pull this up? This was recently added on Poloniex. So YFI, let's see if we can do some TA on that. And then the other question is, can helium do 100x? Short answer, I've kind of covered this before. In my opinion, yes. But I mean, I've been mining this for a while. I own the tokens. I'm all in on this project. This is kind of my low cap coin that I think has potential to do 100x. Then in terms of what or where could be the next 1,000x coin? Okay, so let's save that maybe for last. Bill, are you able to pull up TA?
I am. Let me,
okay.
I'm drawing on it right now. So you guys can watch me do the sort of the art part live. Okay, so this is new. All right. So this is like, I have like a little time frame. It's called the 89-minute bar chart. All right. And now I see this price action and I've got to figure out what to do with it. So frequently cryptos go up. Okay. And I can tell whatever this is hot because it went right to, I don't know, let's call it a really important retracement line. What's that? Well, if something moons and then it starts to come back down, we use this idea of retracement to try to find an area to enter. Okay. And it looks like with the line that held, without just drubbing you with chart theory, a new high in this is definitely possible, right? Because if you do the Elliott wave work, right, if you keep it simple, it's the first wave. Normally the second wave's pretty boring. The third wave is super exciting. The fourth wave is a big dip. And then the fifth wave is, you know, sort of like Moon Boy. It just goes. So this looks like people were just ready to buy the dip. They were dying to, right? And, you know, the structure just looks like it can make a new high. I mean, it's brand new, but just looking at the chart, that's what I tell you.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Yeah. I mean, I think that's, so it's been interesting just kind of seeing the hype around this project. So this project, I mean, first of all, Andre, the developer that's made this project, actually here, let me pull up the project here for those who maybe haven't heard of it. So herein.finance is the site, I believe. So this basically lets you do yield farming on steroids, essentially. Right? So you basically plug your MetaMask wallet, you can earn, you can zap, you can do all this other stuff. So basically it lets you do lots of interactions with other DeFi platforms, protocols, so Compound, Balancer, what have you, all on this platform without having to kind of go through and use several platforms. So it's kind of like a glue, right? So let me see if I can even use some of this here. Okay, maybe not. And I don't want to connect my actual wallet to this. Okay, but in general, you basically go here and this lets you maximize your yield farming, right? So it lets you really maximize it without having to babysit your yield farming. So I think that's why there's been lots of hype. And then they've also launched their own governance token. And we know anything in DeFi now where you just add a token or just a governance token has been pumping. And I think it was pretty ethical that the developer, Andre, did not give himself a founder reward. He basically just launched the project. There was no pre-mine or nothing. Everyone just earned a token, right? So it's pretty cool just kind of seeing somebody do that without trying to make it a money grab. Now, that being said, our team is also in the process of doing more research on this, right? So this token should be added to Token Metrics probably in the next week or so. So just kind of keep an eye on that. Now, in terms of the other question, what cryptocurrency can 1000x? I mean, that's a very tough question. First of all, not financial advice, not any kind of investment advice. If we had to speculate, I would just say, I mean, the top coins we like now. I mean, so in my opinion, I would say Bitcoin, Ethereum. Outside of that, I would say in terms of low cap coins, I myself am heavily invested, well, not heavily, but I'm invested in Helium and Matic. So those are the coins I think have potential. I also like Blockstack. Blockstack is also a blockchain. So I think, in my opinion, those are probably three that come to mind. Let me see if I had any others. How about you, Bill? Are there any coins you think have huge potential?
Well, we talked about, you know, I'm repeating myself, but we talked about Ethereum, right? Mm-hmm. I think just one comment on 1000x. I mean, 1000x comes along once in every great while, right? That means something was like totally mispriced or offered for free to begin with, and then, you know, exploded and became bigger than the holiday season, right? Just, all right. Yeah. So I think Ethereum, I think ADA, Cardano has big potential, right? I'm still going to hold on and think Monero, right? I've been pounding the table on that for quite some time. The world is getting weirder, okay? And as the world gets weirder, privacy can matter, all right? You know, I think the DeFi coins, VeChain and Chainlink, okay, once they get done flushing people out, also have upside, right? So yes, I know I'm on the alt show saying alts can do okay, but if you get the big dip, Okay. This
Yeah.
happens all the time in every single market, right? You know, no one knows about it, and then everyone loves it. And then when everyone loves it, it gets flushed out. Okay. Then everyone gets discouraged and they forget why they loved it to begin with. So that whole small altcoin space, including VeChain and Chainlink, they may have really big upside potential. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this is a total cryptocurrency market rally. It's not just alt season. I've been saying this the whole time, particularly to our premium groups, newsletters. This is not just a blip. This has got legs.
Yeah, well said, well said. So somebody's saying we're talking about large caps. Okay, I mean, so if people want DeFi tokens, I mean, I think if people are really going to start hunting and fishing for 1000x returns, I think the only products that could get those, as mentioned with Bill, would be those tokens that were given to a very select few, meaning that there was no token sale, there was no pre-mine. It was basically just given to early adopters, right? So kind of like Wi-Fi, right? So imagine somebody just creates a token, issues that to the community or their users, and because it has a very, very low cap, that could possibly be 1000x, in my opinion, right? I think if we kind of confine it to short-term cryptocurrencies that could do that, I think probably DeFi projects that have a very strong community, right? So here, I'll just kind of pull this back up on my screen. So the reason why herein.finance has done well, they have a strong community, right? This is not just some, put lipstick on a pig, call it DeFi and 1000x, right? That's going to get you 1000x wrecked, right? So I think if you're really trying to see what projects can possibly do 1000x, let me see if I can find the forum here. Just give me 1 second. So I think the first thing you'd have to check is the community. So Yearn Finance Forum, because I was on the forum here, but sorry, okay, yeah. So it's gov.yearn.finance. So this is the forum. So as you see, even though this project just launched recently, they have a pretty strong community, right? So this is a governance token. So I would say if you're trying to kind of replicate this success, find projects with very good communities. So if we go to community size here, so my understanding is this has been around for about a month or so. They have 646 users, over 2,700 posts, right? So actually I'm friends with Cooper. Actually, we're in the same crypto basketball hoops league. so great guy he is, Andre. Okay, so anyway, I would say find projects with very good communities that are going to issue governance tokens, and just get in early, sit back and watch, right? Because if they issue a governance token with a very low cap, let's say it's, I don't know, 100,000. So 1000x would be not 100,000, not a million, not 10 million, basically 100 million market cap. And if we go to Yearn, their market cap right now is 93 million. Okay, so basically you would have to get into a DeFi or governance token, or just any project that's issuing a token with no public sale, just to a community with less than 100,000 market cap. Those would be the requirements. Okay. Now, with that being said, if you have any projects on the radar that you think fit this potential, definitely be sure to comment down below. I mean, I know lots of people are actually joking that we should launch a Token Metrics token. And we've not ruled out the idea. I mean, because we do have a crypto family. We do have a crypto family. So, hey, tell us what you think. Tell us down in the comments below. Do you think we should issue our own governance token? Do you think there's a different token we haven't covered that could possibly 1000x? Comment down below. All right, so let's check in here with the audience and see how we're doing. Okay, we have a super chat. Okay, so actually we have a couple. Oh, wow. All right, thank you for all the support. Let me just catch up here with all the comments. Okay, so the first super chat is from Sunny. he gave us the sterling, British pound. Okay. Okay, so he's saying to check out ethereumcapital.tech. It's a 3-year-old Ethereum dividend DApp. Okay, that's interesting. I've not heard of this if it's been 3 years old, so this is my first time pulling this up. Thank you guys for the kind words. The Menti code. The Menti code, go to menti.com, menti.com, and use the code 863118. That's 863118 to post your questions. Let me put that in the chat there as well. If you like the stream, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And thank you, crypto family. I believe we have now surpassed 5,000 subscribers on our Token Metrics YouTube channel. Let me just double check just to make sure I have the right numbers. Okay, maybe not. We should be passing that, I think, by today. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, so we're about to pass those numbers. So if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do that. Go to tokenmetrics.com. Go to youtube.com/tokenmetrics. So try to get us past over 5,000. Okay, all right. I'm talking too much. Let me pull up this. Okay, so the super chat person wants us to take a look at this. So this is my first time going through this as well. Okay, so lifelong passive income, Ethereum dividends, protected by the blockchain. Okay, dividends on what? Unlike passive platforms, it promotes you 1% a day. Okay, so your Ethereum is safely stored in a vault on the blockchain for which only you have the keys. Okay, it says enter now. Am I supposed to enter? Okay, let me just click something here. Okay, looks like it's trying to pull up my MetaMask, and I definitely don't want to do that. Okay, so yeah, I'm not quite sure how this works. Maybe if they had a video or something explaining how this works. So it says buy Ethereum credits, 10% dividend distribution. Sell Ethereum credits, 10% dividend distribution. My question is, what's the distribution off of? So do you just store Ether and they just pay it back? Anybody know how this works? The fee to enter is 20%. The total fee deducted as soon as you deposit is 10%. Okay, yeah, not quite sure I trust this. So, I mean, can't really comment much because I haven't really done a deep dive on this. So I would say they definitely could do some improvement on their onboarding if they're trying to get people to use this. Okay, because yeah, I haven't really heard of Ethereum dividends because passive income, because I'm not saying it's a Ponzi scheme, but you deposit Ethereum and they just give you Ethereum back. I mean, it makes me think of that Twitter scam where they ask you to send Bitcoin and they give you Bitcoin. They give you two BTC back. I'm not saying that's it, but I'm saying they definitely could do a better job explaining how this works. Maybe I'm not reading it right. Bill, have you heard of Ethereum dividends?
I have not, but in discussing DeFi in general, or getting an interest rate on a cryptocurrency, I think it's important, like if someone's offering you a 20% return, to have some idea of what they're doing to generate that return, right? Because if they're giving you 20%, they're generating more than that. So it's important to be able to at least understand, see a video, text, or know before jumping into something and connecting your wallet. How do these people make money?
Yeah. Yeah, because
that's what's not clear from looking at that particular website. It's like, you know.
Yeah, so I see actually looks like the team members are in the chat. So maybe the other ones are paid. Okay, he says we have a growing YouTube community. This is 100% solid, coded in Solidity. But I mean, for example, like I know if you're getting dividends on a stock, like the company's kind of getting their profits and using that to buy back or to reward holders, right? So in this case, I mean, where are these profits coming from? So I think they could definitely improve their onboarding. Okay, let me click on the page that says how it works. Maybe that has more information. Yeah, I'm sorry, but this does not bring confidence. It says the fee to enter is 20%. The total fee deducted as soon as you deposit. 10% is distributed immediately to everyone, including you. When you leave, 10% is released to all remaining members. This process, the handling of all funds and the distribution of all Ethereum, is totally managed by the mathematically. But I mean, where the profits go, this seems like just a Ponzi scheme. I'm sorry, but I'm not quite seeing where the money is coming from. Like, it's not explaining at all how money is being made. So I deposit money, you take a part of that, give me back on that. Okay, yeah, I mean, you guys definitely can improve your onboarding, I think. Okay, but I think that's that. But do thank you for the chat. Going on to the next question. So next, super chat. Okay, so sorry, so many comments. Okay, so Bobby Boucher wants us to look at SPX. Okay, so we'll have Bill take a look at that.
As in the S&P 500?
Yeah, I believe so. SPX, S&P 500.
Okay, let's look at SPX. All right, here we go. Coming up. Okay, so always amusing to get into the world of stocks, right? So right now, I would describe equities as, you know, it's like the S&P has attacked this gigantic gap, right? This was from the initial February, March. Oh my God, right? Now, if this was crypto, this thing almost looks like it could just fall off a cliff, right? I mean, that's just what it looks like. It's sky high. All right. Now, the Fed is probably going to come in and stop it from going down at some point, right? But if I look at the chart and I say, you know, if I actually made the bet that stocks were going to go up and I was right, I mean, this looks like a classic Elliott wave trend complete, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I had money in stocks, I would take the money, right? I mean, where's it all going? I mean, are we going to get jobs for 30 million people overnight?
Not really.
So, you know, I think crypto's got more upside. You know, I don't think SPX looks particularly appealing. Okay. I think the Fed will, of course, it's kind of a zombie market, right? It's like I could chart it. It's almost like it's like a stable coin, right? As soon as supply comes in, the Fed comes in to absorb it. So it doesn't look particularly great. Nobody's made any money fighting stocks. Okay. Personally, I hope they just keep it stable because that allows crypto to keep moving.
Right. Now, so now I think on some past shows you mentioned, either past shows or maybe in the private group, you mentioned that as long as equities are doing well, crypto will do well. Can you kind of maybe talk about that as well?
Sure. So what can make equities go down? Let's start with that, right? So, you know, we already know the virus is bad, but things like war, you know, I live in Houston. I watched on the news as we told the huge Chinese consulate building to pack their stuff up. I watched them pack up.
I heard about that. Oh,
okay.
Wow.
This is a monstrous building in downtown Houston. Closed. They're burning papers in the parking lot. So there are a lot of 10,000 people on the street today protesting in Russia. not Portland, Russia. Okay.
Russia?
Yes.
For what?
Well, I don't know. Somebody got arrested and, sent to the gulag, classic stuff.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch of people got upset about it.
Yeah.
So social disturbances, geopolitical disturbances. Okay. These things, no one's taking this stuff seriously, just like no one was taking the virus seriously in January. Mm-hmm. So hopefully these things don't derail stocks. If they do, then it becomes back to this sell everything mentality that we saw in March, which we, as in crypto family, we would not want to get caught up in that. We actually hope crypto benefits from that. But realistically, if stocks went down 30% because of some huge problem, Bitcoin's not going to 11,000 in that environment. It's just not, right? Because crypto is a risky asset. So, stable stocks, it can go up and down, but stable stocks in the world not blowing up helps crypto, right? Is there event risk out there? Yeah, there is. We don't talk a lot about it because, it's not connected to crypto, and we hope it never is.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Okay. All right. So let's take a few questions from the comments, and we'll get to the actual live stream. Oh man, so many comments. Wow. Okay. I see people are saying Ethereum to 1,000, Ethereum to 10K, Ethereum to 50K, Ethereum to 4 to 10K, Ethereum to 1 million. Okay, so I think people have made the voices heard. All right, so let's go on to the AMA. Now let me pull this up here. Okay, all right, so let me share my screen. Okay, so this is a quick question, I think. Does Token Metrics give buy or sell signals? Not quite. Well, I mean, because technically and legally, we can't tell you what to buy or sell. Okay, so you still have to do your own research. But what we do tell you, if I can pull it up here, just give me a second. Yeah, so what we do tell you is what coins we are bullish and bearish on, and a grade based on 100%. Nice. So for example, right now, in terms of trading, so short term, these are coins we think are good coins to trade. So we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Matic, and so on. And then we also tell you the technology and fundamental scores, the TA, right? So right now we're bearish on Bitcoin, neutral on Ethereum, right? Now, this is just merely a tool. This is not the only tool to use, right? That's why we kind of bring on both the AI element of things and also the human part of things, right? That's why we have Bill plus the AI, right? So it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. And if both the AI and Bill say this is bullish, then it's probably bullish, right? But as usual, that's just kind of our take, our opinion. At the end of the day, you have to pull the trigger and decide yourself whether it makes sense to get in, right? So anything else to add to that, Bill?
Sure. So Token Metrics provides you a lot of research and information about any particular tokens and coins as a whole in a very confined space, in a very nice package. So we give a lot of research in a confined package. And then we also give you indications through our price prediction model and our technical analysis as to whether we think something could go up or down. Okay. So we help you figure out whether something is going to be bullish or bearish. But to this question, the trade location is left to you. Or if you have specific questions on trade location, we have like a premium chat group where we help people with that. But generally speaking, we tell you bullish or bearish, or we give our best estimate. And then the decision to act on that and the trade location is left up to you, because we're not registered investment advisors, right? So we want to focus on producing the best research possible, the best research out there, period, actually.
Right. Yeah. So even same thing with our indices, right? So the indices, pretty much kind of give you a guideline in terms of how we would use our ratings to build a model portfolio, but it's just a model portfolio. This is not custom tailored to anybody's particular life circumstance or goals or investment goals, right? So a model portfolio should not be construed as investment advice, right? It's just a starting point, but at the end of the day, everyone is different, right? Some people have more money than others. Some people have a higher appetite for risk than others. So their investment style would also be different, right? So for example, here, looking at the trader daily weighted portfolio, these are the coins this model likes for trading, right? So for example, like Zilliqa, Iran, Augur, right? And then everything here is also transparent. So this portfolio is up only 40%, right? So at the end of the day, we try to give you a guideline in terms of how to become a smarter crypto investor or trader. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're all adults here, so we all have to put on our big boy pants, big girl pants, right? And pull the trigger and own our own trades or investments, right? Even though we're a tool or platform that gives you research, at the end of the day, if you make money, that's you that made the money, right? And if you lose money, that's also you that lost the money, right? You basically have to own your wins and your losses. All right, with that being said, we definitely do recommend, I mean, you use this to become a smarter investor, because the average, so we actually had a survey, right, recently, I would say about 3 weeks back. So only about 35% of traders make money. So just think about that. And this is actually for equities. In crypto, it's probably a lot worse. Okay, but only 35% of traders actually make money. Right? Even those who maybe made money in the bull run, they typically don't take profits, or they still kind of get left holding backs, right? So only 35% of traders make money. With our platform, with the last customer survey we had, 50% of our customers were making money with Token Metrics. So that's well above the average, right? And I would say most of our customers aren't like professional traders or investors, right? I would say, yes, we have a handful who maybe have been in crypto since 2012 or 2013 or what have you, but we have some customers who joined crypto a month ago, right? And so to them, being able to have that expertise and that speed to market, or rather time to value, being able to beat the average without having to be an expert and follow crypto 24/7, that's really the edge we give our audience, right? So going back to the question, do we give buy or sell signals? Not specifically, but we help you try to make money, and more importantly, we help you not lose money, right? So we help you beat the average, and I think that's what platforms like this do. Okay, all right, so moving on to the next question. Okay, so more questions on Token Metrics. So the questions on the indices. Now, without having to answer too many questions on Token Metrics, because I do want to kind of get to more other crypto questions, we did publish a blog post. So if you just go to our blog, blog.tokenmetrics.com. So just go to our blog and then go to this post, the Token Metrics AI indices. We posted the full webinar, which is about almost 90 minutes long on this blog. It's also on our channel as well. So go here, watch this video basically. And then we have all the questions. We have a transcript. Okay, maybe we don't have this. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, maybe the transcript was only sent to our customers. I'm sorry. But I would say that the full thing is here though, right? So just go here, watch the video. That should answer most of your questions. But this person's question is, what happens if I join middle of the month when an index is already up? Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happens with an index, right? So if, for example, if you join, let's say this index, this one is daily, but let's say there's a monthly index and you join. I mean, you basically have two options. You can just kind of sit and wait until the next rebalancing happens, or maybe you get in and just kind of know that you're getting in kind of halfway, right? But that's something that you as an investor has to decide, right? It's kind of different for everyone, right? Just kind of go through here, find your style. But I wouldn't really be worried too much about it, right? Because the point of an index is just to diversify your portfolio. It's not really to try to time the bottoms and the peaks, right? It's really just to kind of to help you automate and give you a guideline in terms of how to diversify and rebalance your portfolio. So honestly, I wouldn't really put too much weight into that. Okay, all right, so let's move on to some other questions. Okay, can you please do one for DeFi before it's too late? I'm not sure, what do you mean, do what for DeFi? Do TA, do price prediction, do a token for DeFi? I'm not sure I quite understand the question. So maybe somebody could add more details to the question. Now, please do try. Bill's mic is working. I'm not sure what it says. Okay. Yeah, Bill's mic is working. Okay, here, let me just go through and try to filter this.
Testing, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear loud and clear. Okay. So people just chimed in. Okay, so people are saying we should do a DeFi index. Okay. So we can't really comment too much. All I can say is we are taking in feedback from our audience, the community, and creating a DeFi index definitely is in the works. We're just trying to figure out the best way of doing that, right? So all I can say is stay tuned, but the plan is for us to create one, right? So especially on the platform, but maybe even some other innovative ways of doing it. Okay, all right. Okay, so lots of questions on the indices. I mean, people must be really into them. Okay, all right. So next question, like your 2017 Token Metrics spreadsheet, will the indices only really work in an alt bull market? How would it perform when BTC drops 40%? Would it adjust immediately? Very good question, very good question. So this is something we've also been thinking about, and we've also been looking into ways to really hedge against this, right? So one thing I did notice today when I was looking at our indices, let me see if I can figure out which one. I think it might have been the value investor. Just give me 1 second here. It's because I did see that Pax Gold, which is Pax G, okay, maybe this hasn't balanced yet. Okay, so for example, if we go to our value investor ratings here, for example, right, we notice that Pax Gold, which is a cryptocurrency that's backed by gold, is now in the top 10, right? So that's kind of maybe telling us that maybe there is some risk in the market. So maybe having some exposure to something that has no correlation to Bitcoin or the crypto market in general, right? Having some exposure to gold. Because last time I think we had Pax Gold in the top 10 in our ratings was during the pandemic crash, right? Basically during the flash crash. So that's kind of one thing we're looking into. We do have a quant on our team who's basically also doing some research into this. But typically, like for example, for those who follow Nassim Taleb, who's the author of The Black Swan, Fooled by Randomness and Anti-Fragile. So I've been going through his book, Anti-Fragile, trying to just kind of see ways for us to make our indices anti-fragile. Right now, crypto is very limited, but the idea is if we could, because we are pretty aggressive by being heavily in alts, but if we could maybe buy puts on altcoins, that would be kind of like maybe one of the perfect ways to kind of hedge, right? So I think, so this process is basically called tail risk. So Nassim Taleb is an advisor to a Wall Street fund that I believe returned over 3,600% during the pandemic, because my understanding is they basically just invest in the index, but they also hedge for Black Swan events by buying puts, so that they're basically buying puts out of money, so that when those puts end up being true, they get paid a boatload of money. But I think that's something maybe Bill can kind of cover some more.
Sure, I'd be happy to jump in. So the question is, you know, if I get involved in an index and I'm long, Okay. How do I know what's going to happen when the market goes down? Okay. So this is the classic equities idea, right? When Token Metrics creates an index, we're giving you a suggestion on asset allocation. So if you get involved and own or the components of an index, generally speaking, it's assumed that you want to be long, right? So we're saying, here's an index. Here's a way to spread out your money. If you want to be long, this is a suggestion. Now, is that portfolio, or is like any equities portfolio, going to work like in 2008? No, it absolutely is not. So if you were, now, could Ian and his tech group design something that, had a hedging component to protect you? Yes. Do we have it now? No. All right. But if you were concerned that Bitcoin was going to go down 40%, all right, you would not be invested in altcoins. And if you wanted to hold on to them, you would have to put on some kind of hedge, right? You'd have to buy puts in Bitcoin, or you'd have to short Bitcoin futures, or you'd have to use some sort of derivative. And this happens all the time, right? Like firms will have, in equities, they'll have a group of small investments that they like. They could be all kinds of instruments, right? And then back to our earlier question, when in doubt, when you have to hedge, sell S&P, right? That's why S&P tanked in March. So part of being in a diversified portfolio, part of taking risky investments, even if it's an index, is you got to have a plan. This is what I told some of our premium customers, right? If it doesn't break resistance, have a plan. And then the next step is that plan might be a hedge or a way to protect yourself. So can it be built into an index? Yes. Okay. But like the robo advisors and say the equity industry, they do not have that. They do not have automatic protection. So protecting yourself is a good thing to learn how to do.
Yeah, well said. Well said. To also add on to that. So, I mean, in our testing, we have definitely looked into other ways. So actually, originally, working with our quant team and data science team, the original indices were actually both long and short. Right. So basically, they tell you what cryptocurrencies were bullish on, and they basically go long on those. But they also tell you what cryptocurrencies were bearish on, and they short those. But shorting in crypto is very risky, and we definitely don't want to mislead or misdirect anybody to go out there and start shorting altcoins, because you can be right and still get wrecked in crypto. Right? So, for example, if you short some newly launched DeFi token that just gets pumped and does 100x, right? That's not, because when you short something, I mean, your losses are almost infinite, right? So we definitely don't want anybody out there, right? That brings an extra element of risk to the index. And I think down the road, we definitely do want to kind of find ways to hedge, right? So we're still in the process of doing research. So we are looking into maybe doing other protocols, right? So for example, maybe we could use UMA, right? So UMA is basically a platform that lets you create financial contracts. So that's one we're looking into. Maybe something we even create through synthetics, and maybe we're able to kind of create our own out of the money puts on altcoins, right? Or maybe it just means getting insurance, right? So one protocol we are, so actually here, let me pull this up here on my screen. And this is what one protocol we are looking into is called Open, or OPYN. So this has options for crypto, but it's DeFi, but it is very limited, right? So this lets you hedge Ethereum risk, right? Hedge compound risk, compound the governance token, and balancer. And yeah, I think they only have 3 altcoins at the moment. So basically Ethereum, Comp, and BAL, right? But imagine if they had this for over 100 different altcoins, and you could buy out of the money puts as a hedge, then this could be a possible way to kind of do that, right? But to leverage this, we kind of have to then start really integrating into all these other third-party protocols. So that definitely does take time, right? And Rome was not built in a day, and it definitely will take some time. But that's kind of a goal we have, right? A goal is really to make sure if this alt season and DeFi bubble ends up popping, making sure people are protected, right? So definitely do know that crypto family has your back. All right. So going on to the next question. Okay, so I'm kind of going through and I'm picking some questions. So somebody had a question about Grid Plus. Grid Plus we already covered on the last show, and there isn't really anything new since then. Okay, so this question, given the nature of the DeFi space at the moment with new coins each day, how do you know what coin is best to pick? Okay, I mean, this is a challenging question. I'm assuming because you're talking about DeFi space and kind of the time we're in, this seems more like a short-term trader, so probably a speculator. I would say times like this, honestly, fundamentals are kind of out of the window. Now, projects with fundamentals and good code are still performing well, and also those with good technicals, but kind of be cautious because some projects are just going up just because of FOMO and hype, right? So I would definitely recommend you join Token Metrics if you haven't. That's kind of why we built the platform, right? So we have our indices. So if you're a trader, maybe having an index based purely on just technicals, right? Or just maybe doing research and finding a coin you like that is entering a bullish trend and then checking the price predictions. One other thing we are working on, I don't think I've mentioned this publicly yet, but we're in the process of working on bringing sentiment analysis onto Token Metrics. And ideally, the future would be to create a sentiment index, right? So basically, that picks coins purely based on FOMO. basically, it's basically the FOMO index. Right now, we're pulling in data from Twitter. Then we'll build machine learning models that analyze basically what people post on Twitter and taking that data and matching it up to the coin and seeing how well it performs. And then building a predictive model that can tell us, okay, if we get this threshold of people bullish or bearish on a particular coin, this means that, right? So right now we're testing it with Bitcoin, but the idea is expanding this to all altcoins, right? I know there's the Fear and Greed Index, but that's mainly for Bitcoin. I know there's also a competing product called Lunar Crush, but I don't think they use machine learning or AI. I think it's kind of some other stuff they're doing. But for us, that's really our response to the fleeting, I would say the fleeting moment, right? Because when fundamentals go out the window, you have to basically look at FOMO, right? And what better way to look at FOMO than getting sentiment on Twitter and then putting that into an AI model and having that tell you how to basically trade. Any comments on that, Bill?
Sure. So the answer to the question is, how do I know which latest pump to chase? The answer would be none of the above and watch out for predators, right? In other words, when DeFi started, there were some quality plays. We've discussed them. Now that there's new tokens coming out every day, those could be the predators and you could be the prey. Because, you know, if you jump into something just because it's the latest, greatest, or you're just trying to find 100x, okay, more than likely you're going to get trapped. You might find something great, but you're going to get trapped. So be careful when it's a new coin every day, because I don't know if you noticed this, but as soon as DeFi got to that point, right, it took about 2-3 days. Then Ethereum took off. And then it took about 3 or 4 days, and then Bitcoin took off, and all of DeFi corrected. So there's people out there that probably got hurt in that. And we don't want our customers, our readers, our listeners, our crypto family. We don't want that. So don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, well said. Be cautious. I mean, especially those who have been in crypto for some time. If you're around back in 2018, 2019 bear market, especially in alts, don't forget, I mean, because if you lost money back in 2018 on any altcoin or even Bitcoin, right? Don't forget that loss, because that could happen again, right? Because markets do move in cycles, and just be cautious, right? So don't just FOMO invest into something. Now, always ask yourself, is this money I'm willing to lose? Because that's probably the most common thing we saw back in 2018, 2019, lots of people were investing money that they could not afford to lose. They're basically investing rent money, grocery money. I know people who I thought were smart, who were borrowing money, getting money from the uncles, family, cousins, investing that in, and going, they're basically gambling. And you don't want to gamble in crypto. I mean, yes, they're good gains, but at the end of the day, right? Because there's been enough research done on this. People feel more pain from a loss than from a win, right? So I believe it's 2x. So I think, so for example, getting a 100x investment is good, but losing but losing all your money feels like getting 200x's the other way around, right? It's basically like, it's like losing 200x's in a row, right? So definitely be cautious, right? Because losing hurts a lot more than winning.
Right. And if one more thing on that, you know, in bull markets, so we talked earlier in the show that it's a bull market, right? In bull markets, people who rush in late at the top of a move, they wind up selling to really smart dip buyers, right? Who always say, okay, I'm going to take advantage of these people who, like Ian said, just experienced pain. And I'm going to take advantage of that because it's going to turn and go back up. So we're trying to keep our customer base out of the people, out of the group that gets chopped up.
Yeah. I mean, because in crypto, you're still dealing with professionals out there, right? So if you're not a professional, if you're not trading or investing full time, understand that you're competing with professionals out there. And that's really why indices help, because indices help you buy low, sell high. They kind of take the emotions out. They take the FOMO out of things, right? So that's why we highly recommend you try out the indices, right? Because they help you kind of navigate the storm in a way. Okay. All right. Great questions, everybody. Let's check in here with the audience in the comments and see how we're doing. If you like the stream, be sure to like, subscribe, share, retweet. Okay, so Mako says, if you're investing until 2022, none of these swings matter. Yeah, I mean, so if you're investing in the long term, then I mean, don't really speculate, right? Just kind of tell yourself, I'm in this for the long term. These ups and downs don't really matter as much. Blockchain says, good stream. Thank you. We appreciate it. Ben says, yeah, Lend topped at 4K sats and corrected hard. Yeah, so Aave has been on a tear, but with everything, what goes up has to correct. Nirmal says, Elrond is definitely mooning. We still have time to board the train. Well, I would say definitely. I guess maybe we do some TA on that. Now, Elrond has been in our indices, and it has been performing pretty well. Okay, yeah. So let's pull up some TA. Could you pull up Elrond, Bill?
I can.
I think it's EL something or something like that.
All right, I have it here versus Tether, so it's coming right up. Okay.
Because Elrond is now okay. Go ahead.
So this is Elrond. All right. So we can watch me do the, you can watch me do the drawing live to the extent that that's entertaining. So when you have a moonshot like this, I've got to try to figure out how to draw the lines so I can give you a good upside target. And as you can see, this process is subjective. Okay. Now, all right. So the individual who's saying that this has room to move, he could be right, because I don't see a lot of resistance above. Now, that said, frequently when you have the markets that we have, so this is like the only, maybe one of the only alts that's mooning in this environment. So you may get a group of people chasing it. All right. So that can lead to, sometimes with these alts, you get like a final 20%, gigantic up day. That is possible in that token. Okay. If I made a whole bunch of money in it, would I take it? Yes. But I can't discount some sort of gigantic final 20% up move, because that's happened in this space, right? That's how these bull markets have concluded. So I don't want to get in front of a moving train, but I want you to manage your P&L wisely.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So Diego's telling us, so Elrond is about to launch their mainnet. So that could also be why it's trending. Now, if we pull up the price predictions here on Token Metrics, I mean, yeah, this has been pretty on point. I mean, all the way until probably around July 20th, where Amado's had it basically dropping from about 19 cents all the way down to 11, but it basically just kind of just went the other way around. so right now it's actually performing better than the models, but our models have been fairly accurate in the past few months, and we have it going as high as possibly 24 cents, essentially, yeah, about 24 cents or so. Then basically going sideways after that. So kind of good to have that perspective of Bill's TA plus the AI model. But tell us, I mean, are you bullish in Elrond? Do you think Elrond is going to do very well? And tell us down in the comments below. All right, so let's keep it moving here. Oh wow, we have so many questions here. All right, so many questions. Maybe I think we have to make a governance token for this. Hey, I mean, it is DeFi, right? Who needs Menti when you have a governance token? Okay, all right, so let me. Okay, so here's one we haven't covered. Okay, so question is, our thoughts on NIMIQ, NIMIQ. Okay, so let's see if Bill can pull that up. Now, I don't think we have this on Token Metrics. Let me just take a look, because this is a altcoin. Actually, looks like we might have it. Just give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, we don't have the full score on this. So the TA models we have here, this says it's kind of bearish, but maybe we aren't pulling in the full data. So I'm curious to see what Bill has. Yeah, so this, we don't really have much information on this, but I am pretty familiar with the project because I was an investor in the ICO back in 2017. And I think I sold basically back in 2018 or so. But I mean, recently I've been hearing lots and lots of talk about them. So it looks like they have been bouncing back. So I'm not sure if they have any newsworthy event or if something big has been happening. It looks like they maybe also did slightly change their idea. Bill, let me know if you, okay.
Okay. So, this is the new altcoin game, right? What do you do after it moons? Okay. And what are the signs that, someone is out there looking to buy the dip? Okay. Now, in this, it looks like it mooned a lot and sellers came in big here, right? Then there were three big down days, 1, 2, 3, actually 4 of them, right? And now it's trying to come back, but it looks like the sellers are still there, which means there were a lot of guys that FOMO'd into it, right? And now they're trapped. So I would say that this is kind of one of these maybe one and done alts, right? Mm-hmm. The only thing that would change that is that, if the sellers kind of exhaust themselves here, right? And buyers come in knowing that there's a future catalyst, right? So if I was going to buy the dip, I would wait for this thing to make a good candlestick or prove itself, right? You know, you want to buy it when people are bearish, but you don't want to catch the falling knife when bears are in charge and just going to sell indiscriminately. All right. Because you remember, you know, if Bitcoin goes up, okay, alts, no matter how good they are, might suffer. They may wash people out. So they're already washing people out in this one. So I'm not saying it can't go up, but we've had some questions already about, hey, when do I get in? When do I get out? How do I manage my risk? So that's how I would leave that analysis.
Yeah, and I find that interesting because Nimic has been a altcoin that has been pretty much pumped by lots of YouTubers. so maybe that was the pump, and then you basically had that big dump. Now the question is this just a short-term dump, or is this going to be dumped some more? All right. I mean, because me myself, I was an investor back in 2017, and I mean, I basically just took the L. So I think it was down like 95%. Right. So I mean, I'm surprised it's even bounced back. Right. But I think this is just something that's probably fleeting. I mean, unless there's some big news that maybe I'm not aware about. But I think, at least from the videos I've watched that people are talking about this coin, I've seen people were just talking about this being just a low cap coin that's just going to basically have that flavor of the week or flavor of the month because it's low cap, and maybe they're doing something that's kind of sexy, right? But I haven't really seen any major update from the fundamentals. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. So please do share with us down in the comments below whether you think this project is good, whether it has upside, whether it has more downside than upside, and yeah, tell us what you think about the project. All right, so let's keep it moving. Okay, so here's one of the token that's been pretty popular. And this one, we just added this to Token Metrics as well. So definitely do go to the site to check that out. So Swipe, XSP or SWP. So this is a cryptocurrency for payments that was purchased by Binance. So this is, I believe, similar to crypto.com. So I believe Binance is using this to issue their cards. Let me just see if I can pull this up. Yeah, so swipe.io is the project's name. So it is a mobile app that lets you buy, sell, and spend cryptocurrency with a swipe. So it is pretty interesting that Binance did buy them, right? So basically, here's the card. It's a Visa debit card. I know Binance, I believe, had some news recently about their cards are about to be mailed, I believe. Okay, let me know when you're ready, Bill.
Okay, coming up here. Okay, so this is really interesting. All right. When it comes to something like this is a 1 hour chart, right? And I like to say, all right, does this look like something that's just getting started or something that's like kind of quit? And when I look at this, right, you know, you look at these other coins and they just kind of go straight up. Okay. But this kind of has a nice orderly trend to it. All right. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the Elliott wave, but I will say this. This looks like it's coiling up to try to do something bigger, right? So if you were going to buy the dip in something, this might be a good something, okay? Because what this thing has been doing is, you know, it'll go up, and then it'll go sideways, okay, like right here, right? So this makes me think, you know, it's possibly like a normal bull market, right? When you start to see structures that are bullish. So if there's a good fundamental story, and you're looking for something where you can buy a dip and not get wrecked, that might be one of those plays, right? Because remember, somebody's going to win when the whole crypto market moves up together in unison. Someone's going to win. I don't know if that's a party that does, but someone is. So keep that in mind.
All right. Thank you, Bill. So tell us what you think. Are you holding XSP, XP? So tell us what you think down in the comments below. Yeah. So yeah, because crypto.com, the competitor, is now pretty much a top 10 coin. I mean, because that's a project back in 2017 we had a chance to invest in. We thought it was a scam. We actually ended up investing in a different company that that was TKN, Token Card, which didn't go anywhere. So I mean, if I could turn back the clock, I would have put my $500 into this project. I mean, into crypto.com as well as to the other project. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay, all right, great questions, everybody. Once again, we're taking questions from menti.com. At this point, we have 76 questions. Live stream has been going on for about an hour and a half or so, hour 15. I don't think we'll be able to get through all these questions. That's why I was joking that we probably do need a governance token for this. Okay, let me see if I can sift through and pick one that we haven't covered. For Token Metrics questions, I recommend just going to our site. We have most of the questions answered there. And then we also have a chat icon on the bottom right that anybody can use to basically help themselves or to do a search. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. It looks like I found a question. I just gotta find it here. Okay, hold on. Okay, so we have an altcoin question. All right, hello, Ian and Bill. What would it take for you guys to switch from holding majority alts to holding majority Bitcoin? Thanks. Okay, all right. So for me, right now, honestly, I don't even have much Bitcoin. Right now, I'm basically in Ether, in Helium, and Matic Network. I'm doing staking for that, and in cash. I mean, honestly, I don't really have Bitcoin. I know that's different than most people, right? Most people own some Bitcoin, but I would say definitely don't do what I do, right? Everyone has different reasons and different needs for investing, right? For me, I'm basically just focused on building token metrics and investing in some altcoins that are very undervalued, that have long-term potential, right? And as mentioned before, I'm very bullish on Helium. I've been mining that. I'm bullish on Matic. I think it's a good project, long-term, good technology, good low cap, right? The next one I'm probably going to buy more of is probably Blockstack. And then my large cap play is ETH, right? I mean, I think Ethereum is going to surpass Bitcoin long-term in the next 10 years, right? I know the Bitcoin maximalists don't like hearing that, but that's kind of where I'm putting my money, right? I'm not saying Bitcoin is not bad. I mean, Bitcoin is still a great project, but I think in terms of upside, I think Bitcoin is kind of like, Bitcoin to me is like bonds, right? And I think if you go to equities, you kind of have two ways of investing, right? So this kind of goes back to the book I mentioned earlier. I'm going through Anti-Fragile by Nassim Taleb. So basically have kind of two types of portfolios. You have the 60% stocks, 40% bonds portfolio, where bonds are basically a hedge, or you can have somebody who just does maybe like 80% stocks, and the rest is maybe just puts, or maybe some other form of hedge or shorts, right? So people are different, right? So with me, I'm very comfortable investing in alts because I feel like our team has done the due diligence to figure out which ones have actual potential, versus which ones are just shitcoins, right? So, but not everybody might have that appetite for risk. Now, Bill?
Okay. So for Token Metrics, if you ask Token Metrics, when will we give up on alts? The answer would be never, right? Because that's what we do.
We're kind of biased.
Right. So it's all led by Ethereum. Now, this question is interesting if you consider macroeconomics. Okay. When would Bitcoin, let me rephrase the question. When would Bitcoin go up to the point where it kind of almost wrecked the rest of the crypto market? Like, what could turn Bitcoin into a monster? Now, the answer to that question is if there was something wrong with the US dollar, or if there was something wrong with how people perceive the quality of US Treasury debt. Okay. So theoretically, in the world, if the dollar ever fell apart, everybody could go, oh my God, I've got to have stores of value like gold, silver, and Bitcoin. Okay. In that case, maybe Bitcoin and ETH, it's sort of like a 2-coin market. We actually got a little taste of that this week. But, in terms of what could be like an ongoing, what could turn Bitcoin into an ongoing wrecking ball for alts would be this like economic or macro crisis. Now, we're not anticipating that in the short term. We think the DeFi space, we think, the Ethereum narrative is compelling, as you've heard, as you can see the Ethereum logo behind me, right? So we're into it. But you'll also have to consider the fact that, if Bitcoin did become a wrecking ball, that it would because there's a problem with the US dollar.
All right. Yeah. Well said, Bill. Well said. Thank you. So also tell us what you think. I mean, what would it take you, our audience, to get out of altcoins and go into Bitcoin and vice versa? Tell us down in the comments below. Definitely want to hear what everyone has to say. All right. So we have a special announcement to make. So during this stream,
we just landed on the moon and the land.
We have officially passed 5,000 subscribers on the Token Metrics YouTube channel.
All right.
So thank you, crypto family.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. So we've basically doubled in a month, I believe. Right. So, I mean, alt season is here. I mean, the community, the audience is growing. We have 140 people on this live stream on the Token Metrics channel, and about 140 more on my personal channel as well. And that's not even counting Twitter and Facebook. So, I mean, thank you, crypto family. Thank you for being here with us on a Sunday night here. And if you haven't yet joined Token Metrics, we have a coupon for you. Crypto family, all caps, one word, gets you 10% off discount lifetime. So definitely make sure you use that to join. So that's 10% off plus the 50% off discount if you use if you join Token Metrics annually. Right? So that's basically getting 60% off. Right? And those discounts will not be around forever, especially now that, I mean, as you guys can see, Token Metrics and alt season is here, right? Everyone's trying to join and just get into alts. So it kind of makes sense for us to kind of, increase not increase the price, but reduce the discount. But anyway, thank you, crypto family. Thank you, Diego, Christopher, Griffs, Chris, James, Rodrigo, Alice. Thank you all. Okay, all right. So let's check in here with the audience in the comments and see if there are any other questions for us to cover. Somebody's saying, Ian, are you bullish? Are you guys bullish on exit scams? I mean, we are seeing lots of irrational exuberance in the market, right? So, I mean, I think it's going to happen. I mean, I definitely don't want this to happen, but just kind of seeing how irrational people are being in different Telegram groups I'm in, right? This is like back in 2017 where people were just investing in anything because it will pump. And I get very concerned because I know some of these people were the same people complaining about Sparkster. and I'm like, did you not forget all these other bad investments that you maybe invested in that didn't do well? I mean, because if anything, we should be wiser, right? We should be more cautious, right? So that's why we've not really been hopping onto the DeFi bandwagon so much. We're still kind of taking a very slow-paced approach, because yes, there is value in DeFi, but we think you have to go very slow and be cautious because you don't want to get wrecked, right? Bill, any comments on scams?
Sure. Here's what we're trying to do for customers, right? DeFi went up, and we encourage people to book profits, along with telling people what we thought the high quality DeFi plays were. That's kind of how our discussion started. Now what we're trying to do is help people start navigating like what to get into on a dip and when. Okay. Now, when you start getting questions like, what's the 100x pump that's coming out next week? Or,
the next.
Like when I start getting a whole bunch of questions and none of it's on TradingView. Okay. Right. This is when I start going, uh-oh. Right. And then Ethereum took off. Okay. And then a lot of people that jumped into that stuff are getting hurt. Right. So we don't want you to get hurt. Okay. We know you're excited. We're excited too, but we want you to be smart traders and investors. Right? Really, we want you to be more like investors, where you can take advantage and be like, okay, when it's ultra FOMO, sell. And when people are going, DeFi's dead in 2 weeks, buy. All right. Yeah. So we're trying to keep you on the right side of things, really, so you can keep your head clear. Because if we can help you keep your head clear, you'd be surprised. As Ian said earlier, you can make money. You can make the decisions. You can do well.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. So Chris is joking, saying, come on, Bill, we know you have a crystal ball.
See again. Look, folks, in this business, you're only as good as your last call, right? So
yeah.
I'm a technical analyst by trade. So, I keep it super humble. So thank you. I appreciate that, but I definitely do not have a crystal ball.
All right. Well said. So next question is, this is a token that can be plotted on TradingView. So what are your thoughts on XZC, which is Zcoin, I believe? So we'll have Bill pull that up. Let me see if we can also pull this up here on our end on Token Metrics. So Zcoin has been a coin we have been pretty bullish on amongst all the other privacy coins. So we think this and Monero and Zcash are probably the privacy coins we think have a pretty good chance. So here, just kind of looking at fundamentals have been decent, technology has been decent. So it's really just kind of been the technical analysis. So let me see if we have any price prediction. Yeah, price prediction model for this hasn't really been too good. Okay, to you, Bill.
Okay, coming right up.
Okay, so as you pull that up, so Chris says, jokes, mate. Then Joe says, Bill has been on a tear lately. Yeah, I mean, Bill has been doing a great job. So I mean, great job, Bill. I know Bill is very humble, but I mean, getting this channel to 5,000 and then at this pace, maybe even 10,000 or more. I mean, Bill has been doing a great work, especially with crypto therapy.
Yes, cryptotherapy is definitely something everyone in this business will need at some point. All right. And I appreciate the love, seriously, and the opportunity to be here, by the way, speaking of being humble. Yeah. So, okay. Zcoin, XZC. I'm looking at it here versus Bitcoin because that's how I was originally charting it. This is a 2-day chart. All right. It looks like this thing came to resistance. Okay. And the sellers were there. Okay. When I see stuff like this, it reminds me of a miniature version of this, right? That you can get kind of a correction. Okay. In other words, the bulls took charge, but then the bears came in right here. All right. And they said, we're going to get out. Now, if this was 2 weeks ago, I would have been like, buy the dip. But if the Bitcoin freight train is coming, I would be like, if you like Zcoin, I don't think it would kill you to wait a week and just see what happens. See what happens, right?
Yeah.
In trading, in investing, this is a fact. The hardest thing to do is do nothing and wait. You just sit in front of that blinking screen, and your friend that made a 2x is texting you from the bar, and you just you can't control yourself. Well, that's the whole game. If you can wait, control your emotions, then you can profit from things like Zcoin if they're really good and they're going to go up again. So that's how I would use Zcoin as like a lesson point, right? Nobody liked it. Nobody was looking at it. It went up. Okay. And now you have to wait and see whether it's going to be real or not.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Okay. So let's check in here with the audience. Okay. So Outlook says, sorry, I came in later. Could you pin up the original first reason on this price prediction? I would say just go to like the first 10 minutes of the stream. Basically, Ethereum is turning bullish. Okay. Okay, so here's a question from Cristiano for Bill again. So let me just read this. Bill or William, would you mind to tell us the advantage of using a 2-day chart?
Yes, I'd be happy to. So the advantage to using a 2-day chart is not a lot of people do it, right? Like people's time horizon in crypto, it's like, oh, a new coin is out. Is it going to moon? Has it mooned yet? What? Are we there yet? So a 2-day chart helps filter out some noise, right? It's like, are the bulls or the bears in charge? And I give them 48 hours to sort that out. Plus, not a lot of people do it. So, we do have 5,000 subscribers, but that's not the whole world. So, our secret may be safe. But 2- and 3-day charts can be incredibly useful.
All right. Well said. Thank you, Bill. Okay. All right. So let me see if we can find some other questions here. Okay. So we have lots of interest on Holochain, HOT. So maybe we'll check into that. So yeah, Holochain has been a project that has good fundamentals. The only issue we've really had with it has just mainly been the technology could be better. But here, let me see what Token Metrics has on it as Bill's pulling up the TA. Yeah, so right now we have it as an okay project, long term. Right, fundamentals are good, but technology and TA here could be better. Let me see what else we have on this. So our price prediction models have basically been over predicting it. So they've been higher than the actual price for the last 2 months or so, until really the last week or so. And then this kind of has it going down. And then let's see what Bill has to say.
Okay, almost there.
Okay. So as Bill is pulling that up, let me just see what people have to say here in the comments.
Okay. So this is symbol HOT, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Versus the dollar. All right. Now, this doesn't give me a lot of room to do much with it, but I can say this. Okay. Do you see these thrusts here? It looks like the bulls are coming in and going, you know what? Every day when this opens down, I'm buying it. That's a really unusual set of candlesticks, right? So someone out there is going, you know what? I want this. So if it sits here, right? I mean, this thing came down from a lot, right? This thing is sort of making this base, right? Now, I don't want to drive anybody nuts, but we have been talking about this idea of the bigger the base, the higher in the space, right? So this has been doing nothing down here since October. And this is really interesting to me because if you have something that has not mooned, it is based, right? Or made a base, and then bulls are coming in and saying, hey, I'm interested, okay, you could wake up and this thing could go up. Because this is what a lot of altcoins, this is what Ethereum, Cardano, this is the formation. This is one of the 3 formations of the year. So if you like this, I think you could take a shot.
Okay. Now, one of the questions I have for you. So on that chart, I saw lots of huge spikes. Like, so there's some that are green, there are some that are red. Like that seems very unnatural. So any thoughts on that? Like those huge spikes?
Well, what I've been doing is, especially if I have to chart a lot of things that they're not liquid, right? That's not uncommon in things that really aren't liquid, right? So I'm sure I wouldn't shock you by saying, that particular coin is speculative to the point of being slightly scary. When you see those type of spikes on a chart, be careful with how you put in your orders, right? The predators are out there. It doesn't have to be a scam. It can just be normal predators, right? If you put a market order in and there could be some absurd print. So be careful in things that are not liquid. Does it concern me in that chart? Not really. It's an altcoin, and, the game is to find these altcoins that have not mooned yet, right? That's the game.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So next question is some crypto news that we actually forgot to cover. How big is it that US banks can now offer crypto custody? Not sure keys still apply. Okay, so let me pull up the article. So for those who don't know, there was news saying crypto banks can now custody. US banks can now custody crypto. All right, so let me pull up one of these articles here from CoinDesk. And I saw it on Twitter. There were so many people saying this is big news, it's great news, right? So this comes from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the OCC, basically saying that they're now letting all nationally chartered banks in the US provide custody services for cryptocurrencies. Now, this is pretty interesting because the head of this used to work at Coinbase. So he left Coinbase. And as soon as he goes here, he's already putting something into motion that's pro-crypto. So I think that's great news for the entire space. It's really helping make crypto more legit, right? Now, the question is, do we want all these big banks into crypto, right? Because the joke on Twitter was JP Morgan and all these banks were saying crypto is not real, crypto is fake, crypto is a scam. Well, now, they're basically one of the bodies that kind of runs them or kind of directs them is now saying crypto is legit. Now you can all legally store crypto and people's private keys. Now, Bill, any thoughts?
Yeah, so this is real interesting. So Fidelity has had crypto custody for a while. So why all of a sudden is it news that the banks are going to do it too? Okay. So this is banks calling regulators, not the other way around. This is banks probably calling regulators, say, okay, well, stocks, bonds, the Fed just absorbed it all. So we need a trading game. We need something new, something hot, because everything else just went zombie, right? It's controlled by central banks. So the bank, this is my opinion, the banks called up the regulators and says, hey, our customers want crypto. The banks probably didn't want crypto, but the banks are like, our customers want it. And the banks maybe wanted it to the extent of they know it's going to be the next big thing. And it's also the only free market out there, people. Yes, spikes, FOMO, people getting trapped. But guys, this is the way markets have been since the 70s, right? So people who run these banks are like, wait a minute, we have to be involved, even if we don't like it, because it's one of the last free markets left. Okay. So when the regulators go, it's okay to to hold it, that allows crypto to become a part of the foreign exchange market, right? This is something no one talks about in crypto, right? That crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? Other coins, the whole market is considered something like the euro, the Swiss franc, the yen, sterling, right? So it not only makes crypto legit, it makes crypto a part of the foreign exchange market, which, by the way, folks, is the biggest market in the world. So when we talk about big coins mooning, okay, if crypto becomes really integrated into the foreign exchange mechanism, I think I saw something once that's like, I don't know, it's like trillions of dollars a day get turned over in the foreign exchange market. Can you imagine even a fraction of that money getting turned around in crypto?
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin and crypto to the moon.
Right. So that's why I think the banks being involved is a big deal.
All right. So, I mean, the banks are coming around. The banks are now on our side. And I think lesson learned, don't listen to the banks, because the banks are never really early, right? So it pays to be early. And we've been early in crypto. And I mean, despite all the FUD that they've told us to avoid crypto, now they're finally coming around because they see that the people want crypto. All right. So, hey, what's up, Tano? Great to have you here. So Tano, who's also part of our team with Token Metrics, is saying, let's take a look at Chromia. So that's CHR. So let's check that out. Yeah. So I'm also a holder of Chromia. I haven't checked my wallet, but I know they've been doing like those monthly airdrops. Libanovich, we covered Elrond earlier in the show. So just kind of maybe go back like probably half an hour to 45 minutes prior on the live stream. Okay.
Okay, so this is a 4-hour chart of CHR. Okay. Now, to me, this may have run its course in the very short term. Oops. All right, I'm gonna try that one more time. Okay, so it had a big FOMO day recently, okay, or like in the last couple of hours, and now it's kind of coming off. So the way I would just frame this is to say, I don't think chasing this today is the right move. Okay, I think you can just either wait to buy a dip or just wait, period. Okay, I don't see this thing making a new high today or tomorrow. But if you want to try to buy a dip and you're brave, I wouldn't discourage you. Just remember that, you know, if Bitcoin goes to 10,000 or goes to 11,000, no matter what alt is out there, okay, it might dip more than you think. So if you like it, try it. Okay, if you can hold off, wait. I mean, if it goes 50x and you miss it, yes, I guess you can call back on the live stream and say, Bill, you know, thanks a lot. But, you know, I'm not in a hurry to get involved in stuff that's gone up a lot, with Bitcoin and Ether as kind of like a wrecking ball in terms of how much attention and money they're taking up.
Yeah. Okay. So let me also pull this up on Token Metrics. So looking at the price prediction. So early on, they've been pretty consistent, pretty close. So the price prediction is a dotted line. So this has it going as high as about 8 cents, basically 8 cents or so, and then dropping as low as 4 cents. So looks like it's about to peak. So kind of echoing what comments from Bill. So basically, I mean, I have some tokens, but probably makes sense to definitely lock in some profits around here. All right, so tell us what you think. Do you plan to still keep on holding Chromia? Do you plan to get out, to buy the dip? Tell us your plans down in the comments below if you're a Chromia holder. All right, so let's move on here to the next question. Okay, somebody's talking about filling their bags for helium. Okay, somebody says not really a question, but I really think this is the start of something special. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, okay, so here's a comment or question. Hi, Ian and Bill. I heard you guys speak on OSTK, Overstock, on the last few shows. I've looked into them after your review and found T0 and OSTKO. What do you think about these? Thanks. Okay, good question. So T0, that was meant to be the premier security token exchange back in 2018, 2019. And honestly, it's flopped. I do know early equity holders, people who bought into the security token offering, and they were blowing up my phone, wanting me to help them offload. And that was last year. They're basically looking to get out OTC. And I haven't really heard much of that since then. Then we also have the former CEO of Overstock, I believe, Patrick Byrne. He kind of had a scandal of, I believe having an affair or dating a Russian agent or spy, which also kind of brought a bad light with everything. But in general, I mean, to kind of get off the project, I mean, STOs haven't really done well, right? They haven't taken off as people would have thought, because everyone thought security tokens and STOs would be this new wave that would bring new people, new institutions into blockchain and crypto. But none of that has happened. I mean, the new wave that last year was IEOs, but that was kind of short-lived. Then the wave after that became DeFi, right? So security tokens still haven't really taken off. And I think it's mainly been due to regulation and lack of just clarity around that from the SEC and other bodies. Bill?
Okay, so I'm going to pull up Overstock here and just try to talk about it in general. Okay, so one of the things you're going to notice about Overstock is that it started at $2 and it went to 56. Okay.
Wow.
Now, a lot of times when you get stuff like this, okay, it's because the market is telling you something that, you know, in other words, this stock has come down from 95. Okay. So it's kind of gone halfway back. Now, the reason it did this is because, again, if the Fed comes in and makes sort of the traditional markets kind of a zombie market, T0 was designed to cut into a highly profitable business at banks called securities lending. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into all of that, but what is happening here, I think, is that even though Overstock, the list of Overstock problems that drove it down to $2, like this bear market, the brutality of this, right? Where you had something good and then everyone gave up on it. This made me cry watching Overstock go to $2. That was painful. With the reversal, it's simple. Securities markets or the stock market is betting that that Overstock and T0 will be able to create a new securities market, right? Now, the virus creates an investing environment where even if it's not there, we can bet that it will be. So, you know, if I said 2 years ago, oh yeah, all the big banks will be clamoring to do crypto custody, you'd be like, oh, you're crazy, right? Now nothing's crazy in crypto. And again, these guys have sort of been there and have been trying to do this for a while. So at the end of the day, the market's given them the benefit of the doubt. And the stock went from 96 to 2, and now it's back at 50.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Great words on that. Okay, so let's also pull up one other coin people have an interest in. So this is a DeFi coin that has been faring pretty well. Synthetics, which is SNX. This actually, let me pull up the DeFi pulse charts here as well. Yeah, so this is a project we're also been pretty bullish on. Now, for those who recall, back in 2017, it was beginning of 2018. This was going by the name Haven, and yeah, so this is definitely changed. So if we go here to derivatives, this is the top exchange for that at the moment, and doesn't really have much competition, right? Over almost $460 million locked up versus 16 million. So it's basically beating its competition by a mile, and hasn't really, so nobody's really competing with this. So curious to see how this is, because the dominance is 93%. So this is basically leader of the pack. So the question is, has this coin peaked, or is there more upside? Bill?
Okay, here we go. Okay, so with this, okay, so there's this concept in technical analysis. It's called the overshoot, right? So here's what this coin, it looks like it likes to do. It looks like it finds a point like this. It overshoots it. Then it comes back down, scares everyone. And then the bulls come back in and take charge. Okay. And it looks like the same thing is happening here. So one of two things is going to occur here. Either this is going to blow up and go down here, right? In other words, it's going to be a huge washout. They're just going to take everybody that FOMO'd in and take them out. Or it's going to be another situation where, the bears have control for like 2 or 3 days or a week. And then, once Bitcoin and Ethereum are kind of done being wrecking balls, the bulls might come back in. Now, for the sake of the space, I hope it doesn't get wrecked down to this arrow. I think it's more likely that this repeats itself. So somewhere in here, okay, you get bulls coming back in, okay? Because I want to definitely see, even if Bitcoin really hurts the rest of the market and people get flushed out, I want to see buyers show up for these DeFi tokens on a dip. Because if that happens, it's a real bull market. Okay. If it doesn't, it's the usual alt pump and dump. Now,
right. Yeah.
If I was a betting man, I would say the DeFi thing is for real. And there are going to be a select group of coins that dip buyers are really going to show up on. Okay. So,
yeah. So also pulling up the price prediction here on Token Metrics. So this has been pretty close. So it's basically been, it was around 80 cents, went as high as $3, basically 350, 353, 385. So our models have this going all the way down as low as 231. So if it does correct, then I think that's probably as low as it can go before it kind of goes sideways. So as mentioned before, right? So all these are just tools, right? So kind of take this, then also take Bill's comments, then maybe for your own research and kind of bring all these different data points together to then make your own choices, whether or not you think it makes sense to buy more of this, to buy the dip, to take profits, what have you, right? Because all this at the end of the day is merely a tool, and no point should be the only tool in your toolbox, because to really kind of be a good investor or trader, the idea is to take several data points and kind of create a holistic viewpoint on your trade or your investment. So tell us in the comments, are you bullish on synthetics? Do you think this project has more upside? Do you think there's going to be a correction short term? Tell us what you think down in the comments below. All right. Wow. So this has been a great stream. We've been going on for over an hour and a half. As mentioned earlier, we're now over 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you for all the support. Be sure to subscribe, turn on alerts so you know when we go live, and you know when we publish our videos. Share the video, spread the love. Okay, so let's do a few more questions and then we'll begin to wrap up. Somebody's asking about Cody. Does Cody have the fundamentals to be a long-term investment? Possibly. I mean, it's not our first pick or even our first 20 picks. So definitely do kind of keep that in mind. But just go to the site that is on Token Metrics. So we do have that available. So just check that out at tokenmetrics.com to do the deep dive on that. Let me see. Let us take a few more questions and then we'll call it a night. Okay, somebody is saying, Bill, you mentioned Galaxy Digital Holdings from Mike Novogratz. Great call. Okay, and that's good. So looks like lots of people are treating equities as well.
Right. When Ethereum took off, that's when Novogratz's hedge fund the stock went up.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So here's a question. Okay, so question is, hey, Ian, not financial advice, but I have 50K and I really want to turn this into 250K. What's your suggestion? I really have to make that and actually retire my parents. Do you think it's possible to? Well, I mean, nothing is guaranteed. I mean, investing in crypto is definitely risky. Let's maybe take it a step at a time, right? So obviously, as you mentioned, not financial advice. You have 50K. You basically want to 5x that. Question is what time frame, right? So I wouldn't rush it, because if you try to rush investing, that's when you're most likely to lose your money, because then you become desperate, right? So for example, I know in equities, there've been famous stories of traders losing money and then trading even more and basically being more aggressive with their trading to try to recoup that money, and then just basically losing most of the funds for their firm, right? So you definitely don't want to do that, right? So because if you lose money, you have to basically make even more money just to go back to where you were, right? So what can you do to 5x? I mean, long story short, I would say join Token Metrics. I mean, I'm sorry to kind of keep bring that up, but we built our platform to really kind of be your guide with you, right? In this crypto investing space, whether trading, investing, we basically give you the research, the analytics, the AI. We have Bill on our team, right? So just having the right education and research gives you an edge. So having that edge that can give you that winning edge to win and make money in crypto. Because if you don't have the best research, it becomes a hassle, right? Because one person can't do it by themselves. So having a team kind of like us, our community, right? Even if you aren't paying for it, we have our live streams every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Bill and I are here answering your questions, sharing our thoughts on the market. So I think all that can definitely help and guide you towards that. Now, you mentioned wanting to help out your parents to help retire them. That's definitely a worthwhile cause. And I think having something that inspires you and kind of gives you that why as to why you're doing this can also help you stay in this long term, but also helps you manage risk, because you aren't just investing with gambling money, right? You're investing trying to help out your parents, right? So if you're trying to do something like that, you definitely don't want to be reckless. Bill, anything to add to that?
Sure. Helping out your parents is an extremely noble and admirable undertaking. However, it's also pretty emotional, right? And you don't want to make investment decisions, or you don't want to make any decisions out of desperation. Okay. So if your question could be rephrased to say, I have 50,000 and I need to invest it so I can grow it as much as possible. Okay. That's maybe a better way to think about it, because then that gets you into a mindset where, you have some speculative stuff, you have some quality stuff, right? Because if your parents need 250 and your wealth goes from 50 to 25 because of desperation, you're really in bad shape, right? So always think of it as, hey, I want to make great investing decisions and let the market surprise me with the results rather than dump 50,000 into something I think is going to pump and wind up in a trap. So that's the long way to say join Token Metrics, but
yeah. So to also basically chime in there as well. I mean, so think about this. If you're investing money that's meant to help your parents, you definitely have to do the research in what you invest in, because the last thing you want to do is put money that's meant to help your parents into some shitcoin of the week, because that's definitely not the way to go, right? So if anything, you need to have even better research, right? Because, and then I would add on, plan for all kinds of risks, right? Because as somebody who also had the same goal back in 2016, 2017, for those who followed me, my goal was to basically help buy my parents a home, right? To kind of stay here, you know what, fully paid off the entire mortgage, everything's on me. So I was able to make the money, but because of something I overlooked, mainly my crypto security, and I ended up getting hacked. And even though I made the money, I wasn't able to help them with that goal, right? And that was definitely one of the most, I would say, painful moments of just my crypto investing career. So I would say there's always a risk in everything you do, right? So not just risk of making money, but even after you've made the money, right? So just kind of think about that as well, right? So I would say your goal is to turn 50 to 250K. Okay, if that's the goal, try to figure out, okay, what timeline is realistic to make that money in crypto? Because if you're moving ahead of the timeline, then maybe it makes sense to take some money off the table to kind of put that into some kind of savings account, piggy bank, or whatever, right? So I would say invest, and as you make profit, take some profits and put that into something that you won't touch. Because last thing you want to do is make money, then take those profits, reinvest them into something that's very highly speculative, lose those funds, and now you're basically back to where you began, right? Because investing in crypto is very risky. Now, in terms of other ways to do that, I think the Token Metrics indices could be a way to do that. So for example, if your timeline is to only invest once a year, or maybe it's every quarter, every month, maybe pick an index that kind of fits your investment style and your time horizon, and then maybe use that, right? Maybe kind of use that maybe in addition to any other research tools you have, right? So I think that would be a good guide. But in general, I would say if you're investing for family, as Bill said, definitely manage risk, because last thing you want to do is go to your family and tell them, I lost this money because of some DeFi token that pumped 10x, then went down to nothing, right? So definitely be very, very cautious. And if anybody else has any other advice to our crypto family member, please post down in the comments below. All right. Well, I mean, with that being said, it's definitely been quite the stream. Thank you, crypto family, for getting us to 5,000. So here's to the next 10,000, right? So to 10,000 subs, and then to 100,000, and then 1 million. So Bill, any last words?
Folks, crypto's here to stay. Okay. You just want to make sure that you're here for the whole ride. All right. So wait if you can. Don't chase the pump of the day. Okay. Because this is a new bull market, right? We will help you navigate it. We appreciate all the love we've been getting. And again, I appreciate being here to help you.
All right. Thank you, Bill. All right. Well, crypto family, it's been great. With that being said, as we like to say,
We just landed on the moon and the land ball.
the moon is not the limit to the moon and beyond. Thank you, crypto family. It's been great. Definitely make sure to like, subscribe, share this with your crypto family out there. Let's get everybody on board this crypto rocket ship, because as Bill said, crypto is here to stay. And we've been here for a long while, but we have to go out there and evangelize and let our friends who are not in crypto, who are doubters, we have to be that bright light and bring them into the open, right? We have to get them out of the darkness and show them the light. We have to show them the way. So that being said, see everyone, crypto family, next week, Sundays, 6 p.m. Eastern time as usual. And with that being said, thank you. Thank you.